What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope all you're having a great night so far. So here we are, Walker, season one, episode two, back in the saddle. Listen, when I first heard they were rebooting Walker, I got crazy excited because I thought initially when I heard Walker was coming back, I'm like, oh shit, Chuck Norris, the whole gang is coming back. We're gonna see them years later. And then the details came out, and I'm hearing Jared Padalecki was going to be the new Walker. It was like a reimagining. It wasn't going to be a continuation. It was going to be a whole new show, like just a reimagining of Walker. And basically, from what I've seen in the pilot and what I've seen tonight, it's going to be more family oriented. It's going to be a lot different than the original Walker. And I've, grew up on the original Walker. Um, Alex Cahill, C.D. Parker. I grew up with that, Trevette. Um, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give Walker a try. I'm gonna give this reboot a try, see how it is, see if I like it. Especially being a major Walker Texas Ranger fan. Because I am a Walker Texas Ranger fanatic. I fucking love that show. I was actually watching it today, the series finale of the original. So my thoughts on this show so far, being two episodes in, I fucking love it. I like it. I kind of, part of me watching this show, part of me wish that they would have just called it something else. New character, just a whole different show because it's so different from Walker. And that's one of the biggest things I didn't want to do was compare the original to this because this is a reimagining. But I'm enjoying it so far. Usually when you watch the original Walker, you get the case of the week and that's their focus and a little bit mixed in with their personal life. But here you get the family life more than the case of the week because the case of the week was so short. It's like you blink, you missed it. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the pacing of the show. Um, so yeah, getting into this episode, it was a lot of emotions. There's still the family is still reeling from the death of Emily, and Walker's still trying to make sense of it. Um, he's trying to wrap his head around it. Trying to find closure, trying to find some peace. And, the only thing he can think to do is just be a Texas Ranger, throw himself into his work. And now he can't even do that because Captain James pretty much tells him that he has to recertify as a Texas Ranger in order to be in the field. I never knew Texas Rangers had to recertify. Is that something new? Because I never knew that. Um, because when he went to the crime scene, Captain James was like, yeah, you got to get the hell up out of here because you ain't recertified. So you technically ain't a Ranger. You can't be in the field. Um, and when it came time to do the training, Walker was killing it. The driving, the shooting, he was killing it. He messed up on the horse riding. When he had to get on the horse and stuff like that, that's where he just couldn't do it because he saw the saddle and stuff and he just kept thinking about his wife Emily because his wife gave him that saddle. So he just kept thinking about her. And Captain James is pretty much trying to let him know, like, bro, you got to get your head in the game. Because Walker is basically investigating his wife's death. And Captain James is trying to get him to stop doing that because he's like, bro, we got the guy. We got the killer. What are you looking for? And Walker just felt like things about that night just did not add up. The poker chip, her eyes being closed. None of it just added up. He felt like it was personal. And Captain James is pretty much telling him, bro, you're chasing ghosts, let it go. There's nothing there. Um, I like how Captain James is still Walker's friend, but when they're at work, he keeps letting Walker know it's Captain James, not James. It's Captain. Like he's letting him know, yeah, we're friends, but in the workplace, I'm your boss. I'm not your friend here. I'm your boss. And he's just separating that, and I like that. I respect it. You got a job to do. He's trying to do it, and he's trying to make changes. That benefit everybody. But Walker went over to Jerry. I like Geraldine. Jerry is pretty much a friend to Walker and Emily. She's basically what I call the female CD Parker. Because remember in the original Walker, you had CD. Everybody went to CD's Bar and Grill. Him and Trevette used to always, go back and forth. God, I love that. So Jerry is basically CD at this point. She owns a bar. So her and Walker had a conversation and stuff, and they were talking about the night Emily died, and Jerry basically kind of laid a bomb on Walker because Walker felt like when her eyes were closed, he felt like that was personal. And Geraldine confirmed to Walker that the perpetrator did not close her eyes. It was Jerry that did it because Jerry could not leave her that way with her eyes open and stuff like that. But Jerry, I guess, if I recall from the pilot, Jerry and Emily were together that night when the shit went down, and Jerry ended up getting away, going to get help, I guess. And she's the one who closed Emily's eyes because she just couldn't leave her like that with her eyes open. You know what I mean? Like she just didn't want to leave her friend that way. Um, so Walker thanked her and stuff like that. So I think on that level he kind of got closure, but he still was worried about it because of that poker chip. Um, and Walker is just trying to find normalcy in his life again. He's trying to get back on a routine with his kids, trying to learn his kids again, trying to go by the house and fix that up. And his mom, Abilene, I think it's Abilene. I think that's how you pronounce it, Abilene. I freaking know the actress who played Walker's mother because I remember her from the movie Ringmaster, the Jerry Springer movie back in 1998. She played the mama. I remember that movie, yo. That was my movie back in the day, and I definitely remember her. She slept with the black dude, Michael Jai White. If you haven't seen the movie Ringmaster, you gotta go see that movie. She killed it. Um, so basically, Abilene wants him to move to the ranch permanently instead of staying at the house because she knows that it's hard for him. She just wants Walker to have a fresh start, wants the kids to have a fresh start. She don't want them going back to that house where there's so many memories of their mom. You know what I mean? She just want them to have something fresh, something new. But Walker was like, hey, I still got bills at this house. I still got a mortgage at this house. So this gonna be our home. What he noticed was some beer bottles and stuff like that laying around the house. So he knew somebody was at that house. So he texted Stella asking her about it, and she claimed nobody's been there. We all know she lying. Come on now, open beer bottles. Now, unless y'all got some thirsty bum laying around here, somebody was having a party. So of course Walker heads over to the ranch and stuff to see the kids off to school, and Stella's still not feeling him or whatever. Um, and he was gonna take them to school, but they got so comfortable with their uncle Liam because Liam is pretty much along with the parents been taking care of the kids, making sure they get to school. He pretty much knows them more than Walker does at this point. Um, and Walker just got to take the time to learn his kids, and Abilene feels like Bottom should. Am I calling him Bottom? I mean Bottom. Bottom. The father should talk to Walker, and try to help him out, give him some advice or whatever. And Bottom feels like he's grown. He keeps trying to tell his wife their son is grown. We can't force him to move back to the ranch. We can't tell him what normal is. He has his own kids to take care of. He needs to figure out what's normal for him and his family. Just like, he feels like Walker has an obligation to take care of his family and his home, just like Bottom has an obligation to take care of his home, which is the ranch. But he heard what his wife was saying. He understood what his wife was trying to say, and that's what Abilene was trying to say, like a fresh start. And Bottom feels like, maybe a fresh start is normal. You know what I'm saying? Like a normalcy for them is a fresh start instead of going back to their old home. They maybe should, but I can understand why he didn't want to get involved. His son is an adult. He was like, no, let him do him. Let him figure things out. If he needs us or advice or whatever, he can come to me and talk to me, but I'm not going to pressure him to do anything. So I totally respect where he was coming from, and I respect where the mom was coming from. They were just trying to help the family any way that they could. Stella is pretty much lashing out at this point. Her friend Belle, she's going through it because now, because of that, partying, because of that mess that they went through before, and the cops came and all that stuff. Now she got ISIS breathing down her family neck, and they're worried about being deported. Um, I love the fact that Stella had her back. Like Stella was so loyal to Belle because Belle couldn't play in the soccer game or whatever. And Stella pretty much told their coach, well, if Belle's not playing, I'm not playing. Because Stella felt like she got in trouble just like Belle did. So why is it fair for Stella to still get to play, but Belle doesn't? I totally agree with Stella on that, and I loved her loyalty. You know, Belle thought she was crazy for doing it. She was like, no, go play in the game. And Stella was like, hell no. I got your back. I'm your friend. I'm loyal. I'm gonna be here for you. I love that because you don't get loyalty like that no more. You really, really don't. That type of loyalty is very rare nowadays, unfortunately. So I respected Stella for doing that. You know, she didn't have to, but she did. Definitely respect that. Um, but yeah, Stella is definitely lashing out right now. She's lashing out at her father. She's lashing out at the world. Um, and that's just how she felt because her mom was taken from her. Her dad, she just felt abandoned. You know, after her mom died, after her and August's mother died, she felt abandoned. Then her father left her. You know what I mean? She just felt alone. You know, and it was good that she had her grandparents and her uncle around to help her, you know, cope and get through things. But she needed her dad. That's who she needed. And she just felt like he up and abandoned the family, abandoned her and her brother. So that's why she's giving him the cold shoulder at this point and lashing out and trying to do things that's going to piss him off. Like throwing wild parties at their house. Because when Walker showed up, you know, he was just pissed. He was like, what the hell are you thinking? And I'm like, it's obvious what she's thinking. She's trying to get a reaction out of you. She's trying to get some type of, you know, revenge against you for leaving her. So she's doing any and everything to lash out. But like I said, she's not just lashing out at him. She's lashing out at the world because she's hurt. She's hurting. You know. Um. She just doesn't know how to cope with it. So you know, Walker figured that out. But he got the shock of his life when he found out Liam tried to get custody of his kids, and he didn't know that while he was gone. His brother tried to get custody. Um. Liam was pissed off with Walker because they were supposed to have lunch together. And Walker pretty much flaked on him. So Liam's fiance Brett showed up because he knew Walker wasn't gonna he was gonna be a no-show. So Brett showed up and Brett wants him and Liam to move to New York. But I doubt Liam's gonna do it because Liam loves being around his family. So it's kind of gonna be, you know, a big decision between him and Brett about what they're gonna do moving forward. About their life. Because Brett does not want to be in Austin, Texas no more. He wants to move to the big city, the Big Apple. That's where he want to go. So Liam's gonna have a choice to make. Like, do y'all move to New York or do y'all stay in Texas? And he might be in Texas by his damn self because Brett look like he over it. Like Brett's like, yeah, we need to move. Um, and I think Liam's over it too. Like when it comes to Walker, he understands Walker lost his wife and he's trying to be patient with Walker. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Walker needs to get it together. You have two children that you need to take care of and you need to reconnect with. You know what I mean? You can't continue to wallow in self pity and, you know, be moping around depressed. I get it. You know, his wife died and stuff like that. And that's a horrible loss. But you have to put your tough skin on and deal with your kids. You know, you got to be strong for your kids. Um, so of course Walker confronted Liam about trying to adopt his kids, and they get into this little wrestling little fight or whatever. And Liam just broke it down to him the whole reason why he tried to take custody of the kids. And it wasn't to try to take Walker's kids from him. He did it to protect the kids, to protect Walker. Because those kids could have ended up in the system. You know what I mean? Like DCF, whoever, they could have came to, you know, get those kids. Because it's not like the grandparents had legal guardianship over the kids. Walker just left. He didn't leave any paperwork behind for guardianship of those kids. So Liam tried to do whatever he could to keep the kids in the family so they wouldn't fall into the system. Walker was MIA for months, you know, without any contact with the family. You know what I mean? So that could have been bad for the kids. So Liam was just doing what he could to keep the kids in the family. I don't blame Liam for that. He did what he had to do. And in the long run, I hope Walker see that his brother wasn't being malicious about it. He was doing it for you. You know? Um, August, I feel like he definitely is taking on a lot of the burden of this because he's handling this a little bit better than Stella is. I mean, obviously, August is hurting too. And that's what Abilene noticed. She noticed that, you know, she was like, August is sensitive. You know what I mean? But I think he's handling it a lot better than Stella is, but he's hurting just as much as Stella and Walker. You know, Emily was his mom. He loved her. You know, they had a bond too, and he's hurting that she's gone. But you know, he's handling it, I think, better than Stella because he's lashing out, but he's doing it in a constructive way. You know, like these projects that he's working on and stuff. And one of the projects was the video that he was working on. You know, to honor his mother and memorialize her and stuff like that. because she taught him how to take pictures and work the camera and do videos. Like, she taught him that. So he was, trying to memorialize her, and I love that. Um, and Walker pretty much got the shock of his life because that poker chip that he's been hanging on to, that he found on Emily's body the night that she was killed, he thought it was related to her killing. But he got another piece of the puzzle. Apparently, Emily had bought a poker set for him, and she was going to give it to him for Father's Day. That's why she had that poker chip. So I think in a way that was closure for him, when August gave him that. I think he got his closure in a way. Hopefully he did. He's never going to get over his wife. He's never going to get over her death. But I think that, and the fact that he found out Jerry was the one who closed her eyes and not the killer, I think that may be the closure that he needs to move on from this, and start to piece his life back together. So the case of the week. I actually like that scene before I even get into the case of the case of the week. I like the scene between him and Stella where they went back to the old house to dig up that little stone that was in the pathway when you walk up to the house. They dug that up because when Stella and August were kids, they put their handprints there with their name on it and stuff like that. So they wanted to keep it. They wanted to take it back to the ranch. But when she was using the shovel to get it, she broke it and she just broke down in tears. And, he was trying to reassure her, like, listen, I got you. Like, just because it's broken don't mean nothing. We're still a family. We in this together. It's, we can still take it with us. And I like the fact that his father gave him a new saddle, like a new thing, whatever. I think they call it, what's that, the saddle? He got him that or whatever. I like that little bonding moment between him and his dad. That was sweet. And I love the ending part when him, Stella, and August were watching that video that August been working on, even though it wasn't fully finished, of, him and Stella when they were kids with their mom and dad, and they were riding horses and stuff. I love that scene. That scene was so dope, and it made them bond even more. It brought the family together. You know what I mean? I think that's super dope. So the case of the week, I guess some barn had caught on fire or whatever, and a horse died. I guess it was owned by some billionaire or whatever, and a rancher had died. So they doing all of this investigative work, and they find out basically that barn was set on fire on purpose. Somebody was trying to kill this horse, Texas Midnight or whatever the hell you call that damn horse. But when they got the X-rays back from the horse and they did the autopsy and all that stuff, they was like, it was a different horse that died. It wasn't the horse that was supposed to be killed in that fire. Because the horse that was supposed to be killed had an injury. So he was a prize racehorse, but he was no good because he had an injury. So how some people do, they put the horse down or whatever. So that's pretty much what the billionaire tried to do. He tried to get rid of the horse. He tried to get rid of that horse, but the jockey came clean or whatever and basically said that he couldn't bring himself to kill that horse. So he let the horse go. And they ended up tracking down. I love that scene. That scene was so freaking intense. When Mickey and Captain James were in the car and they were going after the guys in the Jeep, and off of one shot, that dude blew out their tire off of one shot. I said, he a damn good shot. Because that shot was right on the money too. I love that. So Walker came through because he found the horse, the prize horse they let go. The jockey let go. So he came in right at the last minute. Him and Mickey got on the horse. They rode to get the guys, and Mickey jumped in on the back and whooped their ass. It was kind of crazy how the case of the week went by super fast. Like, they wrapped that case up fast. Now, in the original Walker, they ain't never wrapped no case up that fast. The case literally took the whole hour. This case, they wrapped that bitch up in 15 minutes. I was like, well, damn, okay. So I'm liking this new direction. I'm definitely loving the Mickey and Trey scenes. I'm loving it. Oh, by the way, Walker did pass his recertification, so now he's back working in the field again. Captain James signed off on it, so that's good. Mickey and Trey, I love their scenes. Mickey is pretty much, trying to figure Trey out. Like, she see all these bags and stuff, and she was like, he normally doesn't stay no more than a couple of days when he's in town. So I knew right then and there when I seen all them bads, I said, yeah, he's not re-enlisting, and he's not. He admitted to her that he's there to stay because she's not used to having somebody in her space. Like she used to being by herself and stuff, and she kind of wanted to focus on her career. Her being the first female Texas Ranger, and not only the first female Texas Ranger, but the first female Texas Ranger and of color to be a part of the Texas Rangers. So she's really not trying to mess that up. And she's very big on that. And she tried to tell Walker that too. Like she's very strict when it comes to Walker too. Because she don't like him doing no crazy shit that's gonna mess her up as his partner. Because it took her, she worked her ass off to get to the Texas Rangers. And she's not about to let nobody mess that up. But ultimately she realized that she can have her cake and eat it too. She can have a good relationship and have her career at the same time because that's what she was worried about. Trying to balance it all. Balance Trey, balance her career. But she realized, you know what? I can have it all. And I'm glad her and Trey came to that realization because I like them together. Her and Trey look good together. The chemistry is on point. I fucking love it. So I'm glad she realized that, like, you can have a career and still have, your boo, your husband, your wife, the kids, the whole kit and caboodle. You can still have the same damn thing. You know what I mean? You can have all of it. So I'm glad she realized that, you know. While Trey figures out what he want to do with his career. But overall, I love this show. I really do. I love it. I'm, interested in continuing to review it. I'm definitely gonna keep watching it because I'm feeling this Walker, this reboot. So anyway, hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about it, and I will see y'all all later. Have a great night. Peace.